Well, been there and done it with that big abstract now. I'm going back to more traditional things. I'd like to be outside today painting the garden. We've got some flowers coming out now that I think will be okay in the next few days, and we're expecting some more sunshine soon, so hopefully that will happen. A friend of mine, Anne-Marie in France, sent me this picture of her vase of flowers the other day. It's, of course, photographs are lacking so much in colour, and I much prefer to paint from light and life, but I can't. In this case, I'm going to take this photograph, I'll show you here, and I'm going to try and push the colours a bit more and give a lovely effect of tonal light and vibrance. That's what we can do. What I'll do first actually is put another canvas behind this one, because it's showing a little bit too half-inch there, flat. And I want to start with the darks and work through, right back through to the lights at the end. So these lovely colours here. Now you see, in the shadows we've got both cool and warm shadows going on here. So let's start with our darkest. Put a touch of water into my palette first of all. I'm going to take some deep purple, and I'm going to actually use a bit of black in this at first, just to really find my darks down here. This is the darkest I'm going to go then, right down there into this almost purple black. Add a little bit more Prussian blue to it now, as this comes through here, comes around that shape there. And let's get rid of, as usual, the white canvas as quickly as we can. But with some vibrance. So black will kill things on its own, but if we add it to a bit of colour, even though it'll kill that slightly, with oils you wouldn't get away with it with watercolour or anything like that. You wouldn't be able to use black there without making it sooty. But we can work a bit more with this. And into that I'm going to put a bit of warm. So I'm going to bring some alizarin crimson and just link it into here to make that a bit warmer there. So it's very dark down there and a little bit warmer up into here. Taking that through in the purple, let's come right around the side of this. And I'm going to cover that in a deep purple at the moment, right down to here, and all of this here. And I'm going to go back into there with some more colours in a minute. Just want a nice glowing deep purple here at first. Using these lovely colours even more freshly soon outside when I can come outside and do the plein air work. So there we are, a nice purple coming right the way through there into this. I'll use that purple again in there in a moment. More blue in there in a minute. Just want to get this colour going. You can see how these darks, tonally, that's only a fraction up tonally from the very dark colour I put on just now. Now I want some ultramarine blue, and I'm going to bring that ultramarine just in around here and blend it in while it's still wet to give a more cooler shade and vibrance to that colour just there. There we go. That comes all the way around into there, and it also is going to reflect down the side of this vase a bit here. So the other day when we were doing the abstract, the same sort of things were happening. We were looking very closely at warm and cool colour hues going together, looking at light and dark, and looking at the opposites in the colour circle, the complementary colours. Let's cool up into there. Take some of that purple again, and I'm going to come down warm into here, right through here. It's very, very dark just through here. Now let's take some of that very, very deep Prussian blue and a little bit of alizarin to make a lovely deep warm here, almost a purple in itself. So Prussian blue and alizarin crimson, and it gives me this really rich, dark, vibrant dark here, right up and through and round there. Leaving a little bit of light just where the light's going to be here now. Right through there, down here. Right down and through there. Same colour. Wherever you see the colour, it's on your brush, you use it. Saves mixing all up again and wasting paint and wasting time. And I want a bit more blue there, so I'll take some of the Prussian blue and just bring that deep Prussian blue. Now that's much darker than this blue here, which has the ultramarine from earlier. And it's a bit darker just there, so we'll take a wee touch of black just to come in here with some of that alizarin to warm it up. Don't usually use black, but I've found much more of a use for it recently. The same colours coming down here. As long as it's used in the right way with colour, it can be very, very... It's like white. I only use pure white at the very end of a painting. When I've done all of my lightest colours, and I know that I can just get that last bit of sparkle, but I will try and get all of my light colours with tints, not pure white. And this is where photographs, I think, are so misleading, because photographs are very limited. And when you get something white against dark, the camera can't handle it. And it makes your lights just bleach out to one white, especially on things like waterfalls that are moving. You just get this cotton wool effect, which has nothing to do with the real. Now there I've got alizarin crimson going, and I've just brought some of the Prussian blue into it, down into here, around there. We'll adjust that colour as we go on in a minute. Right down through here, up into there. We're going to bring the greens into that in just a minute. So that's all of that sorted out there now. All those darks there. While it's still on my brush, I'm going to come into this blue softly here. Take some of that lovely ultramarine blue and just come around that dark shape again there. Then we've got a much lighter, slightly magenta tone happening through here. Let the paint mix. So working all our darks then gradually up and through, wherever they are. Blending one thing into another. I hope you can see that subtle change of warm to cool darks there, and slightly lighter there as well. Now let's go in down here. We've got our purple coming on down here. I'm going to put the patterns on afterwards. So let's just get this lovely purple coming down. That's this one here, look. Down here, right through there, right through here. And we'll turn them. We'll do the details over the top. We'll put colour over the top, so we just want to get a base coat on first of all. That's a lovely glow. You see, I painted it slightly thinner there so that the white glows through it. If I take a bit of blue now, I want a bit more shadow here, I can come in with that blue. This is the Prussian blue. I can darken that right down. I can take some of my alizarin crimson, and where that red line comes around here, I can just come around that with the alizarin. And then we've got that lovely purple, just the same, coming down here. As it comes across, it comes into the Prussian again. So we're linking our warm and cool hues here, right into there. Lovely blue tint. A bit warm as it comes out, so I'm going to take a little bit more slightly lighter mauve and come down there. A little touch of the alizarin again. And of course it starts coming in the bottom of the jar as well, so I'm going to, while I've got that dark on my brush, I'm going to just flick that in there. I shall work it up more with the brush itself with the other colours later. Let's just establish that lost and found edge there a moment. Just a couple of colours. So far we've only used black, Prussian blue, ultramarine and a bit of alizarin, and a wee touch of green just in one spot, a little bit of emerald just in one spot, that was all. I want that to be just thin through there, so I'll just do that a little wash. I'm going to put some lighter colour on the lasers. I'll do just a thin wash of what we've just done, just to lose the white canvas there. I'm going to put my light colours on afterwards. I want to put the mid-tones and lights on later, but I still don't want just white canvas showing, so let's just glaze those in with a thin. Now down here, back to our much deeper purples and blues again. We've got blue coming around the bottom of that pot and down into here. Down into here with the ultramarine blues coming back again. It's cooler suddenly. It's cooler into there too. Ultramarine blue. There's very subtle changes in these Lovely deep rich colours. Blue coming down through here a bit. Right through to there. And the others are in again. A bit more strongly and deeply into there. So you want to have a go at this one. You can. So when you use those few colours at the moment, haven't needed to use anything else. In this one again, but this time pure, straight onto the white canvas, just here. Whereas before I was mixing it in with the ultramarine. Now that's pure in there. A little bit stronger, we'll put a bit more of that just in here a little bit, look. So we've established our darks. Here there's a wee touch of something slightly warmer. I'm going to take a wee touch of burnt umber. It's the first time I use a different colour, and just bring that into there a little bit to give a slightly yellowy tint compared to the rest. So a little bit of very light burnt umber. It's almost like a raw sienna, this burnt umber of this acrylic. It just comes in here, gives a little bit of light just coming through. While we're at it, we've got that colour on the brush, that burnt sienna, a little bit of burnt sienna and a wee bit of burnt umber just to bring in some warmth here. Bring some burnt sienna into it now. The burnt, let's just show what I mean. Here's the burnt umber, the very light burnt umber, which is like a raw sienna. Coming down here, look. I'll bring that right down to this pattern here. Could bring more of a pattern onto this in a minute, but it'll be much stronger and make more sense then. So a little bit of the burnt sienna now, the burnt sienna, not the raw sienna, and look how much warmer I can make that just here. Just by subtly playing a few. You don't need tons and tons of colour on this one. It's more of a tonal work after all. Now here again it's going to be light objects, so I want to make those, just to get a tone going in. Now I'm going to take a little bit of turquoise, just paint that in there for the moment. All the way across this bit. Doesn't matter if your semi-filler comes into it, because it's only a base coat. Just want to lose the white canvas at the minute for to put this light colour on afterwards. So I've only used a few colours. And now we've used ultramarine, a light turquoise, Prussian blue, raw sienna or a very light burnt umber, burnt sienna. I'm going to just drag out the texturing of this just a little bit to make a pattern. And it's an illusion, it's an impression of the pattern. It's not trying to be an exact replica, it's just giving an impression at the moment. Now looking at that blue, that comes up through here as well in the background, so I'm going to just take some water and thinly make a wash of that just so I know where things are. This again is to establish a base coat, because I know this colour wants to glow through up here. Down to here again, re-establish this very, very dark here. Down here, a little bit of black. Then back into my alizarin crimson again, and we'll drop that straight into that black there, going round into the blue, coming out in the textures. Tip of the brush just to flick in this impression of these patterns in the lace work. And where are those darks under here? Yes, they are. So let's bring that down. I've got it on my brush, bring that very deep Prussian blue down and around here. Pure Prussian blue just there. Push these colours that are on the photograph. They might look black in places. We don't want to do that. It's a very complicated bit of drawing. I can tell you, even though it's a simple little scene, it's actually quite a complicated piece. Right down through here again, just to lose all that white. Thin wash, ultramarine blue with a little bit of Prussian in it, just to lose all this white down here. Because we've already put some paint on this spot, if I put a second wash over it, that dark still shows there. Let's look at the background a bit more now. We've got some lovely purple flowers here. So while I'm at that, it's purple. Many times in a painting it isn't just putting one colour in. You can't just make red roofs, green grass, blue sky. We have to put one colour next to another to make things work. And Although these purple irises might seem purple, in fact they're quite blue. So if I put some ultramarine there, straight in, nice big blocks of it, I've got the drawing there already. You see how that's going to work as a purple if I put other colours next to it. Now let's take a bit of lighter blue, go across the top of that. This is a cooler blue, this is more of a cerulean. I'm just going to put some across that, and you see how that works against that one, making that one seem a lot warmer. Into that now we'll take some purple, just to establish these cool to warm blues. Every colour has a warm and a cool, every colour has a hue. So a lighter, cooler yellow would be lemon yellow, and the warm yellow, really warm yellow, would be cadmium, or coming down into yellow ochre and so on, which is really warm. And I've already still got some cobalt on my brush, so I can afford to bring that back in by pushing harder here in between these bits of turquoise. See how that works against the light. Same up here. A little bit of now ultramarine, which is a stronger blue, up here. We get these lovely effects of the cool against the warm and the light against the dark. Add the mid-green in now. I'm going to take some Viridian and just start to use some Viridian. A little bit of water into these colours. I'm going to want green in the stems anyway soon, so let's just start it off now. We're working with all these lovely mid-tones, aren't we? Let's get the background in here, talking about greens. There are all sorts of greens happening in there. We've got a lovely deep sap green just there, really, really dark against that flower. This is, if you added some burnt sienna to a bit of ordinary sap green, you get this sort of browny green, so that's the way of doing that. This one's already in my palette, but that's how I would make it if I had to. And I can use that very warm sap green here as well to get this lovely iris stem that comes here. Make it a bit thinner. Where else do I want it? I want it across here. Down this bit of green. Blue, I mean, very deep blue. It's coming down there. It's up here then. We want to go slightly lighter. I'll take some Viridian into there. Bring that right up and through. And I'll take some emerald now and just add that in. Blend it through. We've gone from the warm sap green through to Viridian, then through to some emerald in there. Gradually I want to go a little bit bluer, so I'll take a touch now of ultramarine as I come through here. Add that to it. Right the way along that top edge there, because I'm going to come back to purples in a minute there. I've got the light shining around this. You can see even with these washes how the light's going to work when we put it in and pull it through. And then through to the green on it. Again, a little bit of emerald just coming through. And that emerald is going to come into these stems a bit too, so I can start to put some slightly lighter colours just hinting back in on these now. And I need to give some washes back there, so I'll take some lighter emerald, some more yellowy emerald, and just do some thinner washes to fill in between this one. I'm going to put the lighter colours in later, down through here. Do it as a glaze almost, so it doesn't lose the painting underneath. So as we were saying, once I'm thinking about that yellow that's in here, the thing with oils and acrylics, especially acrylics, the oils are thicker. Unless you're using very expensive heavy body acrylics, the yellows tend to disappear. So I want to get those in now, where they are, and I can paint, I can soften them back afterwards. But I need to get them just established first of all. These lovely, really strong yellows. Got some cadmium yellow in here now, really thickly, heavily built that in. The warmer the yellow, the stronger they tend to be. The pale yellows, like the lemon yellows, don't tend to be very very strong. When it's on your brush, use it. That's the old adage. Use my finger if I just want to blend things in a little bit more. So that's the stronger cadmium yellow. I'm mixing with that with a bit of green. Myself another wash down here. A little bit of green, a little bit of turquoise I think down here. And we'll just get a pale wash of colour going on down there. A little bit more viridian into there. I'm going to put some lighter colour over in a minute, but that's a bit more viridian into the same colour. You can see I'm using a much thinner coat now, much thinner paint to work into this just to lose the light. A nice effect of light going across to here. We've got much lighter effects of light going over there. We've got turquoise and all sorts of things happening behind here, so let's do that. Got it on my brush. If I see it anywhere else, then that's the time to put it in. Some light turquoise is coming in over here as well. Let's get this lot done up here. Got a little bit more warmth to it now. I'm going to go slightly pink into that. Start to add some of this slightly rose pink into my turquoise. Use the edges a bit, we can go back in with them afterwards. I want to lose this white. I keep saying lose this white. I use some burnt sienna now with the same mix. Start coming into here. Very tiny touches of colour just to tint into these and blend them round. And then I want to make another grey a bit, so I'll take in some little touch of sap green and a little touch of ultramarine, and we'll just make a nice grey to come. Clean my brush off, and with just a clean but wet brush, I just want to blend these back. And now we've got the thing mapped out, you can start to see the darker tones and the mid-tone areas, just to give you an idea. And for fun, before we carry on, I'll just put a little bit of the very light back up into here, just so you can see how it's going to go when we bring things out. Just so you can see, when we come to doing the light colours, how it's going to play with these mid-tones and darks, and we'll really get the effect of. And we'll leave that with a bit more on. I'll leave that at that in just a moment. Because I get carried away like this and I start to enjoy the painting so much that I can't stop myself. Because this is where the fun starts to come as we plough in with these colours. So this is a bit of very light magenta, a bit of turquoise linked in. To start placing these light colours in behind here, and suddenly we've got light. I see the light. And it's a great way to work, so darks and then right through. I haven't used that many colours. Thin paint now, just glazing on a bit to find these light and dark areas. How we can just suddenly use highlights, which is a wonderful thing to do to bring out our painting. There we go, I think that'll do for the moment. We'll carry on tomorrow. Okay, we're back on the second day on this one. And I'll do it down probably a size in brushes now, from this 1/2 to 3/4 inch down to something a little smaller. And we want to start finding these purer colours for this painting. We've got the tones working out quite well now, to refine the colours and the shapes a bit more. So, let's work on this part straight away, get myself back into it. I'll add a touch of turquoise to that, same colour. So we're still staying at the moment with the same colours we've been using. And we'll look at some of these darker shapes. So we know we were using Prussian blue, deep purple and so on back here, and a little touch of black here and there. Let's just come back to these shapes here and refine them just a little bit. A little touch of alizarin crimson into that, remember we were using that. Patch of colour that's coming in there under there, magenta. Sorry, that lovely strong patch of alizarin crimson coming in here. bit more green going on into the background, a very deep mix of sap green we made with the Prussian. Need to work on that, the drawing of that isn't working yet, but I'll get there. Take some of that lovely Viridian green and come back up and look at the pattern on this. We've got the drawing to do here, up to there, down to there, and a lovely green petal shape that comes around just here. Cadmium red with a bit of magenta, and just try and find this slightly warmer shape that's happening here inside this design of a flower on the vase. Don't get too bright. Back to my alizarin again to finish it off with deeper colours down here, which is a much warmer red than the red I just put on. That's working just at the end of that leaf. One little spot of colour can make such a difference, I assure you. Like these I'm doing now, they make such a difference to it. Using broken colour a bit here then, to allow the green to show through this lighter colour I'm just laying on here, reflecting on from that window. Some lovely colours happening here. We're playing the warm against the cool, then letting this very pale blue of the background I've already painted come through this very pale cream I'm putting on now. So we've got white, the chrome yellow, and a little touch of lemon yellow, and a wee touch of magenta to come in over this. It's a nice colour to bring bouncing back into these lighter flowers here. These white irises here, and this colour, this cream could come back into there as well. I'll use that colour a bit more thinly, a bit more glazing around here to try and find the light coming down from the window. So the same colour but used as a glaze, and we'll just try and get the reflected lights coming down in between these as well. Very bright. We're going to make these a bit lighter still in a minute because they're not light enough yet to really make the same. Really want to get the lovely light against the dark here. Again, I'm going back to my turquoise, a little bit more pure this time, as I want to come into here, around these colours here, really bring out this cool, lovely cool blue-green. They say we're playing rough against smooth, light against dark, warm against cool, all the time we're aware of these beautiful things in the painting that we want to bring out. I'll take my very, very light magenta cream and I'm going to do just that. Add a touch of lemon yellow to some very, very light magenta and go really up towards the white. Just see what we get here. It's really going to shine out around this. But it's just begun on my lights. I've been going through all the darks and the mid-tones. I haven't really come in with the lights until now. Work from our darks right up back towards our lights, and now we've got all of this established, we can come back into this any time we like and rework any parts of it. So I've got my basic tones established. I can come back in here anytime I want and just retouch parts of it. Let's start looking at this now here. And suddenly, not using silver paint, because we don't use fluorescent paint for fluorescent things, or silver paint for silver paint, or gold paint for gold things. We have to make the right colours next to each other to get the effects of that. The dabs of colour in the right place, right colours, right places, right shapes, relevant one to another, and things will just appear. Same colour, a little bit of white, a little bit of magenta, a little bit of lemon yellow just to find the sunlight coming through behind. Now let's go back to my very, very light turquoise again, and white. Because I need to start looking at the different blues down here, which are more icy in places, to bring these warms out. Might even need some warm blues here too, we'll see, because the warm blues are already in it from earlier on. Just tickles with the brush to indicate the smokiness of the glass in the background there. Pick up this cool and let it reflect from the window. And have we can play the warm blues against the cool blues now, get this effect of this glass and the silver coming around here. A little bit of the cerulean blue into it now to come back into slightly warmer versions of the cool blue up here. This is almost neat cerulean I'm using at the moment to bring out the warms. Back to my sap green, a little bit of meridian. Need to look at the greens again in here. These very dark greens that are coming down. So we're on to our last stretches now, where I could take a smaller brush, but I just want to push some of these colours and opposites a bit more first. Take some emerald and white, a little touch of magenta into that, just to bring it down a bit. Just look at some of these other colours just coming in around here. One against the other. I need grey, so I'm going to add some more purple and cerulean to that, just to bring the greys out a bit more there. Maybe go a bit darker, maybe a bit of cobalt and magenta into that, just to find the slightly darker grey here, which is required behind these. Really got to work to find these colours. Add some alizarin to it, and we'll just come down the edge here and warm this edge up a bit just down there. Look at the warms and cools are. They keep playing them one against another constantly. Now there's a bit of orange coming in here that could make a lot of difference, so just a wee touch of it, doesn't take a lot, into here, just to play that colour off. The orange against the yellows to make the yellows seem more yellow. Slightly redder, a little bit of cadmium red now. I haven't used much of that. We've got it to our use. Cadmium and deep cadmium and the alizarin are our two main reds, although we've got the burnt sienna to use as well. Now, yellow ochre is a nice deep yellow, and I want a bit more of that yet. We talked about a burnt umber the other day and being close to burnt sienna and the yellow ochre. Let's just have a look at that going on here. This is some of that burnt umber and the yellow ochre, just to warm up against the yellows. It's playing the opposites again. We're using the yellow ochre to make the other yellows look even brighter. Very, very light turquoise and some white, because I just want to look at where the light is shining over some of the stuff up here. And that will make the warmer colours shine out again a bit more. And back to our ultramarine, where we want to really push these beautiful blue colours that are coming down here into here. Ultramarine pure is lovely. It's a lovely colour. I'm almost at the stage now where I feel I need to come in with a smaller brush. Magenta going on. We'll try some of that. Orange and magenta, a strange mix, but let's just see what happens. Must be a little bit lighter, I think. It is coming just down into here. Keep watching for these colours and what's happening with them. As one colour links to another and can bring something else out next to it beautifully, like this is now. You've got to keep watching all the time. You can't take things for granted. And a smaller brush now, just coming down to very fine work, and I want to look at a very, very light yellow. So I'll come down to my little 1/4 inch filbert. Don't want to be too fine. This time with a rounded edge, being a filbert rather than a flat. Let's just take a look at these very, very light creams. See how that lifts things almost immediately, and we come back in with colours that we've lost. Chrome, so cadmium yellow or lemon yellow will do for this, and a little white, make a cream. Use a fine brush, I think, in places. Very, very light now, back to white almost. Just going to start getting in these really light cream highlights. It's these last marks that can make such a difference if you just get them in the right place and capture this. These last touches. We haven't changed palette, but still with exactly the same colours. That's much darker up there. Let's try some very, very deep green into that, and then some blue. Now some Prussian, really dark at the top here. Let's just bring a little lighter emerald into here, just to bring these greens out a little more in the shadows there. Emerald green and a bit of lemon yellow, just to come back with the lighter greens in here a little bit. Reflecting light. To go back to the pinks, back to magentas a little bit. Just feel I need to take some light purple and a wee touch of magenta. Look at the warmer colours that were just happening in the shadows here. I'm a little bit lost. I've lost that ellipse there. I need to get a smaller brush and get in there. I can see. Take a little round brush now. We've got to finally come down to these last details. To a little bit of magenta, a little bit of dark light turquoise, and let's see if we can just bring this. It'll be glaring otherwise, because that needs to be almost perfect, that particular piece of painting here. It's so much in the centre of things that the eye goes straight to it, so I'm going to take it down a bit even. This is where we can actually start to use white highlights a bit if we want to, because we're right down at the end of our painting. So we start loose and we finish as tight as we want. That way we're in control. It's almost impossible to start tight and then go back to loose. You really do need to make that choice in the beginning, and you can then get tighter and tighter and tighter until you feel that you've actually finished and you're happy with what you've got. That way it makes you in control, you see. So we're putting these, as I was saying earlier, we're putting these roughs against smooths now. We've got the lights against darks, we've got the warms against cools. Now we want these roughs against smooths, so I'm going to work up this texturing on the lace a bit here, just to get the feeling of it. Are we there? What do you think? Are we finished? Is it working? Maybe it's taking back a fraction. Too strong there. I'm sure I've missed something, but I can't see what it is. I'm just going to make a little bit more of that very light turquoise green, just to play with it a little bit in the background here, and look at these cools. Just give that a little bit more sparkle. The colours tend to sink with acrylics especially, and it's not so good. And the sun's out and I'm getting tempted to be able to go outside and paint there soon, I hope. And that's on the green, a bit back into here because I want this to link a bit better, and I just got a feeling that it's just too separate down there. It just needs that bit of... And now back to finally, hopefully finally, because I've got to be nearly there surely, a little bit more of the ultramarine to just hold other things together a bit more. And I think there we are now. Where shall I sign it? I mean, I don't want to go right through here really, but most obvious is there a little balance. And what colour shall I sign it there? Shall it be a green or a warm, or, oh dear me. Do a light signature at first and just see what that does. Do maybe a light green. I don't want something that overpowers down here, just something that fits in. Oh well, I think that will do. Well, with the big abstract, now back to a nice loose but gradually tightening up onto a little still life from a photograph. I prefer to work from life, but even so, if we push the photograph, if we push the colours, we can bring it back to a more realistic thing.